Welcome back, guys. It is raining, and we've got some more Datsun stuff to do to get it ready, mostly to keep driving it. The differential has been on its way out for a while. It's not blown yet or anything, but the pinion gear has an excessive amount of play. I'll show you here in a second. So I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I'll pull on the car. I think there's too much gas in it. Let's try this. Now it doesn't want to do it. That's kind of aggravating. Anywho, it clunks really bad. The bushing or the mount that actually holds the differential is good. I've done the mustache bar. There's no play in any of my U-joints. So I went and I bought a differential. So this is the diff that I got. I actually found it here locally. It's got 50-some thousand miles on it. Came out of a 78 280Z. The car was wrecked and has been sitting since the 80s. This is the cover. I don't know how well you guys can see in there. Let's see. But there's no shavings whatsoever. Everything looks really clean. It's really smooth. So, worst comes to worst, I throw this in. It does the same thing the car's been doing before. I spent 70 bucks on this diff, which is a really good deal. And we put an LSD in the diff that was originally in the car, and it's out, and we can build it. But I've got to get cleaning that so I can put a new gasket on and we can go from there. We've also got to get the C10 out of the way before I can even put it in. And I'm in the middle of painting the transfer case for it right now. It's coming out pretty good. Masked everything up, cleaned it all up, wiped it down with Prep All, and the paint seems to be sticking really well to it. I really like the satin black on it. I think it's coming out great. I have sprayed it down with some degreaser, and I'm gonna let it soak in some hot water to make that gasket kind of come off easier. And then hopefully it'll be easier to scrape off and get a nice clean surface. That way when we made it back up, it'll have a nice, good seal, and I won't have to worry about it for a long time, because these are a pain in the butt to do when they're in the car. So now that we got it cleaned off, we are currently painting it with wrinkled black, just to kind of give it a nicer finish. Since it's a pain in the butt to put in, I wanted it to look nice at least. The diff is about done. I've got to do one more coat on this side, flip it over, and do the bottom, and then that'll be good to go. Our gasket will be here tomorrow, and then we can put that on and fill it up. Well, guys, we got the differential gasket. We've got gear oil for it as well. And we are going to go ahead and try to fix the bleeder valve. The bleeder valve itself is fine, other than it's broken. It broke off in the trunk of the car. I'm going to be running Royal Purple's Max Gear 75 W140. It gets pretty warm here, so hopefully it'll offer a little bit more protection than a 75, 90, 80, 90 gear oil. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the differential, put it on the workbench, and put the gasket on and fill it up and move things around. Make sure it's all still moving nicely. It was when I got it, and there was no oil in it, so I would assume that it would be just fine. Of course, assuming things is never the best idea, because things always break. So just one more time, I'm going to show you guys the internals real quick. Everything looks really good. You can see those spider gears turning. It sounds nice. This was serviced last at 52,000 miles, and it'll never see the light of day again until I blow it up. So I got the fill plug out. These Datsun R200s take about 1 quart. So that's what I've got here. We're gonna fill it up and then move things around, kind of get it turning. And we'll let this sit overnight just to make sure that we don't have any leaks before we throw it in the car. Also, another thing, these Datsun drain plugs and fill plugs have a sealant on them from factory. It's because these are kind of a tapered thread. They don't want them to back out. So what I recommend is either, you know, a medium strength thread locker or Teflon tape, and that'll hold it in place. So I didn't know this until just now, but Royal Purple's oil is actually purple. I don't know why I never knew that. I thought it was just the brand's name. I've heard not great things about their engine oil, but I've heard great things about their gear oil. But I didn't know it was actually purple. So that's kind of cool, kind of interesting. So I'm going to show you real quick about where you want it to sit. If you can see in there, you can see that bolt that holds the spider gears, kind of everything in place. Right there. You want to be able to dip your finger in there, and just below the fill bolt is where you want it to be. We've now got it all filled up. We've got the Loctite on the threads themselves. You can see that's all good to go. We're done down here. Doesn't look like we're leaking anything so far, but we will still once again let it sit for 24 hours. And then I've got to let this sit. I epoxied that back on because the other one was stuck in there pretty good. If the diff coming out has one of those that's still intact, then what I'll do is I'll pull it out of that one, or I'll just swap the plates, and then I will have to refill it with oil. But I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing, because then you'd wash out any sort of contaminants that are in there. Kind of do a flush before throwing it in. So we will wait, and we'll see when we get to that point. Thank you all for watching. This has kind of been like a prep video. I've still got to wait for the flywheel to come in and a couple other things before we put the Datsun up on the lift and get the diff actually installed. Hopefully this diff's better than the one we've got in there. I'm really crossing my fingers on that. And thank you all for watching. Come back next week for another video, and let me know if you have anything you'd like to see in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Well guys, we have started to put the differential in. I kind of wanted to get a good go at it before I started telling you guys how to do it, so I would know that I'm telling you the correct way. So I'll get you under the car, show you what's going on. It's really not that bad. I just stripped out one of the drive shaft bolts, so I am drilling it out currently, and I will have to go get another one. So we got the car up and on jack stands. I was adjusting the height of the coilovers. I wanted about a ½ inch more in the rear. Let's hop under here, shall we? So you're going to start by taking off the cross member that holds both control arms together and keeps them snug to the chassis, and then drop it from the actual differential mount. Then you don't have to do this in any particular order, but there's going to be 2 bolts that hold it to the mustache bar. You will take those off, then come up here. You can see my lovely drive shaft bolt that's been stripped out. The other 3 came out nicely, this one not so much, so I have to go ahead and drill it out and get a new nut and bolt, which will be fun because they are like moon shaped, so they don't spin on the other side. After that, you are going to come up in here. You can see where the half shaft connects to the actual flange for the drive shaft. Not the drive shaft, sorry, the differential. And you will have to pull those off as well. The half shaft should have enough play to move it inwards, just enough to be able to drop this out. And then you'll pull it forward at an angle as to not hit the sway bar, and it should just all drop out. And then this is our new drive shaft, new used drive shaft. that we have going into it. It feels very nice. There's not a lot of play anywhere, any more than I would expect from a 50-year-old differential. I called it a drive shaft. I keep getting the two mixed up in my mouth. Anyways, that's the game plan. So we're gonna drop the old one out. We're gonna put the new one in. Hopefully it gets rid of that clunking. I'm a little worried about, they're called, it's like a companion flange that sits on the stub axle on the outside of the half shafts, and those are less than ideal. Not awful, but not great, and I'm hoping that those aren't contributing to the sound that I'm getting, because it's a massive clunk in the rear end when you accelerate or let off the clutch. So we got the old differential out. As you can see, there's a big hole down there where it went. So the old one's over here. It's pretty nasty and filthy, and we are getting ready to throw the new one in. I just swapped over the breather valve off the other case, and then we will get this thrown up in there. This is a lot easier if you have two people, somebody to push the brake and stuff while you are braking nuts free. And then I've got to find a way to lift that up in there, because every time I go to lift it up, I get 90% of the way there, and then my arms just give out. It's too heavy. So I either need to use a trans jack or have somebody else up under there with me. So I am currently letting the car warm up. The differential is put back together. I just adjusted the clutch pedal. We are gonna go take it for a drive and make sure it doesn't clunk anymore, and kind of get things moving throughout the differential since it sat for so long. So we went for a drive in the car. Sorry, I am getting a little sick. I'm losing my voice. And it is great. It does not clunk anymore. It rides a lot smoother, and I don't have a shake at 60 miles an hour anymore. I thought it was my tires, like a bad balance, but it was actually just from the diff, from bearings wearing out and stuff. So that is all fixed, and I've got a big project going underway for this motor right here, the L28. It is currently right behind my hand, and you guys will find out about it next video. So that's where I'm going to end things off, and thanks for watching, everybody. I will catch you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything else you'd like to see. Later.